Denis Pagan has wasted little time getting into the swing of things. Today, Pagan was in country Victoria, leading his team for the first time. However, it wasn't a good start, with the Roos copping another defeat.
Tell Jose to play at Peter Mann's speed in the goal square. The bouncer's all right. We'll do it.
It's been an amazing 24 hours for Denis Pagan. Yesterday, he was coaching Essendon's reserves. Today, he was calling the shots for North Melbourne, which took on Geelong in a practice match. Pagan's two-year appointment was announced last night. The 45-year-old, who has an impressive playing and coaching record, vowed North Melbourne would no longer be a laughing stock.
I suppose a lot of people out there like to put the boots in. I can assure you, the North Melbourne Football Club is on the way up now.
Today, though, the strains and stresses of coaching were already evident. It's certainly not an easy caper.
We want the ball to belong to that spot. If he doesn't want to lead there, ignore it.
The Cats today were far too good for the Roos, winning by 26 points, 123 to 97. The game also marked the return of Gary Ablett, who kicked 4 goals in the first half. A good sign for Geelong fans. Meantime, 2 other stars made their return to senior football today in Tasmania. Tony Lockett and Peter Dacos played in the St Kilda Collingwood practice match. Both showed glimpses of their best, and Collingwood won a 2-point thriller.
By the 2 o'clock opening bounce, 13,300 packed York Park. It was 14 years since this country's premier football had come to Launceston, and it didn't take long for the stars of the game to strut their stuff. This was the first outing in '93 for St Kilda's Tony Lockett. Not as trim as last season, and after a change in heart, the first match for Peter Dacos since he decided not to retire. Dacos led a Collingwood charge in the opening term. He booted 2 goals, and combined with Mick McGuan and Craig Starcevich, the Magpies glided on a 4-goal breeze, leading 8-3 to 1-2 at quarter time. In the second term, Lockett produced some of that hard-to-forget magic. A 5-goal turn by St Kilda clawed it to within 9 points of the Magpies at the long break. In the third term, fancy play had made way for hard work as both sides exchanged goals. Collingwood's Paul Williams the exception. After trailing by 18 points at the final change, St Kilda's Stuart Lowe was his team's inspiration as the Saints began to set up a thriller. At the 15-minute mark, Kane Taylor's second major for the term gave St Kilda the lead for the first time. The response by Collingwood was swift through Mark Richardson. The result came down to the final kick of the match. Former Launceston schoolboy David Grant marked on the siren. A goal would have given his team victory. The prayers of Saints fans rode every inch of the distance. A behind only, Collingwood victorious by 2 points, 101 to 99.
And Essendon produced a brilliant display today, blitzing the Adelaide Crows in the Foster's Cup quarter-final at Waverley. After a tight first half, the Bombers stormed away to win easily by 19 points, 107 to 88. Paul Salmon kicked 8 goals in a best-on-ground performance. In the opening quarter, Adelaide continued where it left off last week against North Melbourne. The Crows looked awesome early, quickly racing to a 4-goal lead.
Left boot gets the distance all right. Top kick, great kick.
However, late in the term, Essendon got a couple back and trailed by 18 points at the first change. In the second quarter, it was the Bombers calling most of the shots. Their running players got on top.
Salmon doesn't go for goal, Long kicks it.
And with Paul Salmon converting in front of goals, they took a 3-point lead into the half-time break. The third quarter went goal for goal until about the 15-minute mark. From that moment on, Essendon completely took over, and the star of the show was Paul Salmon.
To the goal square and Salmon. He's got it again.
He was simply too strong, too big, and too good. The Bombers led by 23 points at the last change and were never threatened in the final quarter. Salmon finished with 8 goals, and the Bombers are through to the semi-finals, where they'll play the West Coast Eagles. It was a day of seesawing fortunes in the second test between